Hello everyone, I'm Pipepatch and welcome back to Our Life Beginnings and Always. I'm actually recording this immediately after I finished recording the last one just because I was having such a fun time. I wanted to keep playing. So I'm just gonna roll right into it, okay? Because I'm too excited. This one is called Family. The sun warmed your skin from its place in the sky and you closed your eyes, enjoying the mix of the heat with the pleasant breeze that drifted past you. Lee, my cousin, yes. You and Lee had spread out a blanket on top of one of the hills behind your house, and you'd been relaxing there for a while now. Oh my god, I can't remember her voice. Lee had come over earlier in the day, and while a range of activities had been discussed, from staying home to heading down to the beach, a picnic on the hill had been the choice you both settled on. A small spread was laid out in front of you, some bottled water, soft drinks, as well as some chips and sliced fruit. You sat up and reached for a snack, listening to Lee talk away about the musical she'd gotten to see a few days ago. Oh, you're so cute. Cute. I love your hair. It was unbelievable. There was singing, dancing, and crazy stunts. It was all done live right in front of my face. That's usually how musicals go. Sorry, I'm such a bitch. Maybe one day we could go together. I've gotta see more shows like that. You smiled at Lee's enthusiasm, knowing how much she enjoyed singing and performing. And she was good at it too. You had gotten the chance to hear her sing a couple of tunes, and you knew she'd put a lot of effort into it. You like to sing but weren't very good. I feel like that's my vibe. That didn't stop you from doing it though. Yeah, it can be fun. You don't need to be good at something if you just do it for fun. I wonder, maybe we could put on our own show. Think of how fun it would be. We could perform for our parents and ask our friends and some other people to come by and watch too. It'd totally work. Sure, I'll give it a go. It wasn't something you had really thought about before, but if Lee wanted to do it, then you could at least give it a shot. Now I'm regretting saying that I'm bad. Lee clapped in excitement and bounced on the balls of her feet, beyond happy that you were on board with her idea. I'm gonna sing. Do you want it too? Or maybe do something else? I might do something else. Ooh. Or what if I wrote the song? What if I dance? That'll be cute. If she sings and I dance. I'm not a dancer in real life, but I think that'll be cute. Okay, we can pick an upbeat song. That way it'll be easy for you to move to. For you to move. Is there anything else that's coming to your head? Oh, I can do more? Yeah, I want to do the backdrop. Or maybe the outfits. Yeah, I'll do the outfits. Oh, thank you. That's a great job for you. You always dress so fashionably. Is there anything else that's coming to your head? You know... maybe one more thing. Okay, now I'll do the backdrop. Yes, that'd make it a real show. Ooh, I'll paint something. Yeah. You thought of your painting kit back home. You could definitely use that to make something for the show. You just hoped there'd be a large enough piece of paper or cardboard for a backdrop. I think that'll make an amazing show. You've got things pretty covered. The two of you ran back to your house to grab the supplies you needed, dodging your mom's amused questions before heading back out to the blanket to get started. You spread a large sheet of paper out in front of you and how big is this piece of paper? And began imagining so you're planning it. Okay, that's fine. Imagining a backdrop for the scene of the show. Lee and you discussed the plans in detail, settling on a song first and then practicing out the parts for the show. The afternoon passed quickly, the sun dropping lower and lower in the sky, and after having thoroughly worked out how the show was going to go, you decided to take a break. Oh, we should have invited Cove to watch us practice our show. He could tell us if we're bad before we put on the real thing. That's smart. We should ask him to watch us later. Okay. It's too bad Derek isn't in the neighborhood today. I like him. Yeah, he's a good person. I knew you'd think so. But, here we go. I knew it was coming at some point. But, speaking of boys we like, what's the relationship status between you and Cove? Is it good? Yeah, it's good. I'm so happy for you. But like, really? Are you gonna be telling him you have a crush on him anytime soon or what? I totally agree with you, Lee, right? They should hurry it up. I tried to mix Jeez Louise and Jesus Christ. Jesus la Christ. I'm pretty sure he does already know, but it doesn't mean... Actually saying it out loud, that boy needs to hear it. He's so anxious. He's got such bad anxiety. I'll tell him soon. I hope so. You know he's totally into you too. I guarantee it. I mean, it's very obvious. It's painfully obvious. It actually hurts me to watch it sometimes. You didn't say anything, wondering about the possibilities instead. The two of you talked a little more about Cove, amongst other topics, and you found that it was nice having someone to speak with about these sorts of things. Finally, you both decided to pack everything up and head back home for the evening. Lee talked excitedly about the show as you did, and you thought back on what you had already accomplished for it. You could definitely do with a little more practice, but what you had so far was a solid foundation for the performance. Oh no! I'm in trouble? Oh my gosh, I actually feel nervous. Let me have some water. Scares me when they blink and sink. Upon walking through the front door, you were met by your mums and Elizabeth hovering around each other in the living room. I'm really scared. Tension hung thick in the air as the three of them turned to you and Lee, frowning slightly. You had interrupted something. Exactly what you were... Oh, so I'm sorry, I assumed that they were waiting angrily for me. Wow, who died? Oh, I'll save that one for my asshole run. What's going on? You looked between them and said nothing. Hello? What's going on? Your mums looked at each other, wondering which of them was going to speak first. Eventually, Mum cleared her throat and spoke. Well, why did I do the deep voice? We're just, having a talk with your sister. The room fell. Is it their talk? Surely she's old enough to know that stuff already, right? The room fell quiet again, with no one quite knowing what to say. You felt incredibly awkward, but the silence didn't last long. Did she kill someone? You don't have to stop just because those two are in here. There's no reason to try keeping it a secret. You killed someone, didn't you? Elizabeth was mad, with her arms folded defensively over her chest, but your mums nodded in agreement with her.
Well...
Elizabeth was asking about her parents. Oh, okay. Oh, cool. Did I know she was adopted? I don't know. Her biological ones. The world... Do I not know that either? The world spun around you at the news. You couldn't understand. Why was this happening now? When you glanced at Lee, she shuffled her feet uncomfortably, as though she didn't know if she should be there or not anymore. You didn't know either. Your mums had always been open and honest about the fact that neither of them had given birth to you or your sister, but the details hadn't been fully explained before. It made sense that Elizabeth didn't know a lot about her biological parents and wanted to know more. You just hadn't ever thought you'd accidentally stumble into it. Elizabeth looked at your parents expectantly. She wasn't going to let the unintentional interruption derail things. We don't want to keep that information from either of you. It's your right to know your past, but we want to wait until we did want to wait until you asked us to hear yourselves. Well, it's happening now, so... Your mom shared a nervous glance, and Ma took in a quick breath before speaking again. I adopted you from the Philippines when you were just a baby. Elizabeth dropped her arms, her eyebrows shooting upwards in surprise. Wait, I wasn't born here? No, you weren't. You could clearly see that your sister was appalled by this information. You struggled even more with what to do or how to react. Am I gonna have to pass some test to even be a citizen? No, honey, I think you're alright. No, you were adopted into this country. We took care of things. You're already a citizen. You have nothing to worry about. I followed all the laws when I came to bringing a child into the US. Nothing can be held against you. Elizabeth sighed, placated with the information but still far from happy. Who are my parents? People, why did they put me up for adoption in the first place? Ma softly put her hand over Elizabeth's shoulder, trying to provide some support before she gave the answer. I'm so sorry, sweetie. Your parents were reported to have died. They didn't go into details on the specifics of how, but you were an orphan. I wish we had better news for you, Elizabeth. Elizabeth was torn between emotions, her eyes filled with tears as she threw her hands in the air, settling on enraged. Great! So I can never meet them, even if I wanted to. Not that I could have, anyway, since they lived in another part of the world when they were still alive. Elizabeth turned her back on you and your moms and stormed off, sprinting up the stairs into her room before anyone could stop her. I have to go and talk to her. Ma immediately started to follow her, but Mom gently held her by the arm and shook her head. You should give her a little space to process it all. Your Ma's head hung low, but she stopped walking. When Elizabeth was gone, the two of them seemed to remember you and Lee were still standing awkwardly off to the side. I'm sorry you had to see all that. It's not how I expected it would have happened when the time came. But since it's the topic of the day, Patch, is there anything you'd like to ask? You deserve to know, after all. Lee patted your back and gave you a supportive look. Oh. I don't even know how to begin to make that decision. My instinct right now is that I want to know later. I can't possibly begin to put myself in the place of someone in this situation, and my actions don't reflect what I necessarily think that person would. You know what, for the sake of the story, I think I want to say I want to know. I want to know. Your parents both nodded in sync to your reply, ready to talk. I can leave if you want to have things be private. I want you to be here. I can do that. It's nice. Lee shifted a little closer to you in support, and you were glad to have her there with you. It made you feel a little stronger somehow. You turned to face your parents again, preparing yourself for what they were about to tell you. Ma was the first to speak, her voice quivering with emotion. Oh God, this must be so tough. I can't imagine what this must feel like. You were adopted as a baby, but 2 years after Elizabeth. We used a different organization that time, and you were adopted within the US. We're sorry to tell you, Patch, your parents had also passed away, and no other family member took you in, if there were any. That's why we wanted to wait until you asked. We didn't want to suddenly drop that in your lap. We wanted you to be prepared. Yeah, I think that's fair enough. If people are old enough to start asking questions, they're old enough to know the information.
I'm sorry.
We're sorry, Patch. Lee gave you a reassuring squeeze on the arm to show she was there for you. It's not your fault you didn't kill them, right? Oof, I am not saying that. You were so angry. I cannot possibly know what it's like to be in this situation, and whatever I do is just me furthering this story. And very much so, I think in this situation you have a right to feel any emotion that comes to you, and I definitely understand that sadness and anger are a big part of those. But for the sake of this moment, I want to say thank you for telling me. Because I imagine this is also difficult for them. I did want to know, and now I do. Thank you for listening, Patch. If there's anything else you want to know, all you have to do is ask. We'll do our best to try and answer any questions you have.
Are you okay?
How are you feeling now? Are you going to be okay? Lee watched you closely, as though judging how exactly she should react to what was going on. I think crying makes the most sense right now. A lump formed in your throat just as warm tears started to fall over your cheeks. You wiped them away with the back of your hand, sniffling quietly. No one seemed to have any words after that. Oh, as much as I really want to further the relationship with Cove, I think I want to see Elizabeth right now. The one person you knew who would understand what you were going through was Elizabeth. She was going through the exact same thing as you, and it seemed just as upset. What did it say, sorry? You headed over the stairs and up to her room. I think I'll leave her in the living room. It would be best to speak with Elizabeth alone. There was more chance of her opening up to you in that way. Waiting in front of your sister's door, you raised a hand to knock on it. There was no answer for a good minute or two, and when you jiggled the handle, you found it was locked. Raising your hand again, you knocked louder this time, thinking she must have her headphones on so she couldn't hear you. When she didn't answer the door a second time, it was clear to you that she either couldn't hear you or was just straight up ignoring you. It hurt to be shut out, especially right now. I think now I want to go see Cove. More than anything, in that moment you wanted to see Cove. No one could be there for you the way he could. You turned on your heel without another word and headed towards the front door. Once outside, you strode across the street purposefully, Cove's house set in your sights. After you raised a hand to knock on the door, it only took a few moments for Mr. Holden to answer it, giving you a broad smile. Cliff's face suddenly fell. He could tell something was wrong, but he didn't say anything else. Instead, he looked back towards the hallway where you knew Cove's room was located. Cove! Patch is here! After calling for his son, he turned back to you with an encouraging thumbs up. Aw. He won't be long. As promised, it didn't take long before footsteps echoed down the hall, and Cove's head of green hair appeared before you all. He looked ahead to see you standing there, and when his eyes widened, you guessed he'd noticed you'd been crying. Patch? Cove pushed past his dad to stand with you outside the door, watching you with concern etched all over his face. You kids be safe. If you need anything, you know where to find me. You gave a kind of smile before softly shutting the front door, giving you some privacy. Cove stepped closer still and spoke cautiously.
What's wrong?
What's wrong? I needed to talk to you. Cove's forehead furrowed in concern at your words. Well, I'm here. You can tell me. My mom and dad who gave birth to me, they're dead. Without having to say anything else, Cove reached out and pulled you into a tight embrace, his familiar warmth enveloping you. I'm sorry, Patch. His words were whispered comfortingly into your shoulder. Oh, You pressed your face into the crook of his neck, unable to stop the tears. The hold he had on you tightened. Can we talk somewhere else? You felt uncomfortable huddled around the entrance of Cove's house. That feeling didn't seem to be a problem, though. Yeah. Cove took you by the arm and encouraged you along behind him. You followed without protest. You headed towards the hills where you and Lee had spent the majority of your day. Things seemed so different then, only a couple of hours ago, and you wondered how everything had changed so drastically. You took a seat on the grass beside Cove, who bent his legs and rested his arms on them before he turned to you again. Can you explain everything to me? You nodded softly before taking in a heavy breath and launching into the story. Cove sat quietly and listened attentively, nodding every now and then or taking in a sharp inhale. It took a long time for you to relay the details. Dozens of stars were pinpointed in the sky as the night wore on. Silence settled between you as Cove sat quietly for a moment, contemplating everything you had said, When he finally spoke, his voice was quiet, drifting through the night towards you. Patch,
I'm so sorry.
I'm really sorry about what happened to your parents. So sorry. He stopped suddenly and took in a deep, shaky breath, and you got the impression he was struggling with what he was right to say. I think this one feels right. I'm sad I'll never get to know them. I'll never find out what they were doing or what they're like as people. It's just all gone. Patch, you're not doing anything wrong. You know that, right? I think that you can be sad. You can be as sad as you want for as long as you need, or you can feel okay about it whenever you want to too. He sighed and ran a hand through his hair as he looked out over the ocean.
It's okay.
I guess what I'm trying to say is, whatever you feel about it is how you feel about it. You don't have to force yourself to be different. I don't know, this one feels right to me. You cried in relief. His words made a lot of sense. You knew that despite everything you were going through, you would be okay. Even as the tears slowly rolled down your face, that thought comforted you. Cove smiled at you a little, and you could tell he was trying to be comforting. And your mums definitely don't. It doesn't matter if you're not blood related. You're definitely family. I can see that, and I hope you can too. You felt the reassurance in his eyes. You stayed up on the hill together a little longer, looking out over the ocean and the stars that shone brightly above it. After talking about the situation with someone who wasn't directly a part of it, you started to see things in a different light. Above all, you were glad to have Cove's support and to know you could count on him if you needed it. Oh, hey. The sudden voice of your sister behind you made you jump. You saw her standing a little way away. She walked closer. You didn't quite know what to do or what she was planning on saying.
So?
Would you mind going? I want to talk to just Patch. You can come back. It's not going to be forever or anything. Cove seemed equal parts concerned and skeptical. Leaving now wasn't a concept that thrilled him. I think that's okay. I think we need the time, just me and my sister. If she wanted to talk to you in private, it was obviously about something important. You waited until the two of you were alone before fixing her with an inquisitive look. Elizabeth folded her arms, looking you over. Did Moms tell you about your parents too? Elizabeth broke eye contact after that. Sorry. Why did you want to talk to me? I went to see you and you didn't even answer. Elizabeth raised an eyebrow at the news.
What?
I didn't hear anything. Shutting everything out with loud music was very typical of your sister. You didn't feel much less confused though. Why did you stop doing that then? She shook her head, as though the answer should be obvious. I was worried about you. I was the one who brought it up, but I made you deal with whatever was left when I was gone. She sighed, glancing upwards for a moment before settling on you once more. I wanted to ask you what happened without everyone breathing down our necks. No, she's having a tough time. That's also kind of rude. Thank you for thinking of me. She stuck her nose up a little at that, but her smile was soft. All of this, it upset me. She slipped back into a scowl. I'm sorry, Patch. It's a pretty depressing topic. Yeah. What? Really? That's so stupid. Who came up with that? So what, if someone is born in a different country and then a week later comes to America, Wow. Yikes. You have to be born in the US to become president. What? You'd never heard of that dream of hers before. She noticed your bafflement and continued. I get I was never going to be president, but it feels weird. Having stuff taken away, not even getting a chance at it. Yeah. I don't like having to know that when I was born, I was going to have a completely different life. So different I can't even think about what it'd look like in my head. I could have spoken another language, lived away from everything I've ever seen here, had someone else be my sibling. And then my parents died and I was adopted, and then I got a life. And then, and the life I got became a totally new thing forever. I can't go back to what it was like even if I wanted to. A heaviness settled between you and the person who became your sister. I feel like that too. I can't stop wondering what my life would have been like if I wasn't adopted. There are so many things that could have been different. Elizabeth watched you seriously. She was still trying to make sense of this to you and herself. I don't know why today was the day. Nothing came up to make me ask the question. It was just something I've had in my head for a while. When it was just me and Mom's in the living room, I just kind of said it, finally, and there you go. She shifted from one foot to another, relaxing her stance just a bit. She also spoke more gently. Learning about them and what happened doesn't change how I feel about our family, Patch. She smirked, fixing you with sharp eyes. I'd already figured out a long time ago that Moms weren't our biological parents. That wasn't news. I mean, see, I assumed that they were. That's possible. It's news to me. Yeah, see? I'll keep listening though. Nothing about the family I was born in would have made me decide that this wasn't my family anymore. If you had hoped you'd be free of my big sisterly status, don't think you're so lucky. She bumped her shoulder against yours playfully, her lips tilted at the corners.
You'll always be my little sibling.
Oh. That's so sweet. You'll always be my little sibling. It took a few seconds, but she gave you a quick squeeze in return. Oh. I think I'm really lucky. Chuckling, she seemed pleased with how the conversation had gone in the end. Really? Oh, sorry. Really? Ready to head back home? It's been a long day. Gave her a nod.
Come on.
Come on. Oh, is he still here? Come on, you two. Let's go. You walked home together in a comfortable silence down the well-worn street. The familiarity of it all felt nice. When you stepped through the kitchen door, you found your moms quietly sitting together at the kitchen table. Their heads snapped up, and they got to their feet to meet you, Ma giving you a careful smile. We're so glad to see you. Sorry for walking away before. Oh. Yeah. That's all right, sweetheart. We're just so happy to have you here again. Ma then came over and wrapped her arms around you and Elizabeth, giving you a tight hug. It didn't take long for Mum to join in, putting her arms around the both of you. She looks not pleased. We really couldn't have asked for better kiddos. We love you. More than we could ever say. Mums. I love mums. It's so cute. Yeah. I love you too. You let them hug you for as long as they needed, and it was a nice moment shared between you. They both pulled back eventually and grinned at the two of you, and you knew then that you'd all had each other, and you always would. Oh, hi, you're back. Hey, I hope you're alright. Lee came up towards you, a soft smile plastered on her face. And are you okay, Elizabeth? Elizabeth rolled her eyes and huffed a breath, and you knew she wasn't used to showing her vulnerable side.
Fine.
I'm doing fine. Lee nodded, though you could tell she didn't quite believe her. Well now, since we're all here, how about we do something together as a family? Sounds like an excellent idea. We should have some fun before the night's over. Totally! I love the sound of that. Cove, okay, I'm glad. I was wondering whether you were still here. Okay. Okay. Cove looked a little bashful, likely over being included as part of the family, but he tried not to pay too much attention to it. Why not? Oh, no, sorry. Why not? Wait, why not? That's better. You hid the smile that threatened to tilt your lips, knowing that Elizabeth must have been in a good mood if she hadn't even teased Cove for being part of it. And no matter what she could have said about it, you wanted him to be there. He was someone who was really important to you. Who's got a suggestion? It should be something we can do here in the house with everyone in the same room. You suddenly remembered the show you and Lee had been working on earlier. Oh, yes! Yes, this is perfect! Oh my god, I'm gonna kill it. Yes! No, it's perfect time. Maybe we can do our show. A show? This is the first time we're hearing of this. I'm intrigued.
Wonderful.
It would be amazing if you put it on for us to watch. Oh yeah, I need to see what you've cooked up. That'd be cool. Sorry, I get too excited every time Cove talks. Let me try that one again. That'd be cool. Better. Okay, better. You smiled at Lee, who returned the gesture while bouncing on her heels in excitement. Take some seats and we'll get everything together. Your moms collected the chairs from around the dining table and set them in a row in the living room, where there was enough space for the show. While they did that, you and Lee quickly gathered the supplies you needed and rehashed the plan one last time. You listened through the song you had chosen one last time. You also took a moment to cycle through the dance moves you had planned. The backdrop you had prepared earlier was also ready to go now that it was needed. Finally, you changed into the outfits you had picked out. When the two of you returned to the living room, everyone was sitting and chatting amongst themselves while they waited. The group quietened down when you and Lee stood in front of them on your makeshift stage. Lee was buzzing quietly with excitement beside you. Hell yeah, let's do this. You're pumped for the show. The time you and Lee had put into practicing was worth it. You were ready to go. Okay, so welcome to our show. We only came up with it today, but we promise it'll be good. No free funds. Thank you for being here tonight. Your mums gave you a thumbs up of encouragement, ready for the performance. Then you nodded at Lee when you were ready to begin. Lee took in a deep breath, waiting the few beats it took to get into the song, and started singing. The dance moves you'd practiced went perfectly with the tempo of the song. Your outfits gave a special element to the performance. The backdrop you had created gave a great atmosphere to work off of. When the performance was over, Lee took your hand in hers and the two of you bowed deeply. Together. Everyone gave you a round of applause and cheered for an encore. When you straightened yourself up, you were happy to see that even Elizabeth was clapping for you. Bravo, bravo!
Good job.
You were so talented. I can't pick an accent. Your family rose from their seats and came over to congratulate you more directly. You were beaming from ear to ear. Don't look at me! Cove was the first one to approach, stepping up to you and Lee with a smile on his face.
It's nice.
Nice job. Thank you. You're a really great dancer, Patch. It was cool. Thanks. Welcome. Hey, were you the one who painted the backdrop? Yeah, that was me. Cove smiled, content over his guess being correct. I thought so. It was good. You couldn't help but feel flattered that he could recognize your talent so easily. Your parents gushed about how great everything was and thanked you for sharing it with them. Elizabeth was complimentary in her own way, although she did describe the show as cute, which you knew she meant as kind of kiddie. You laughed it off, however, and were just happy that everyone had a nice time. In that moment, you couldn't have been more pleased to be part of the family you had. Oh, that was so lovely. Oh, I'm really tempted to keep going, but I think I'm going to stop it there. My voice is really starting to hurt. Plus, hey, it's going to leave us 2 to go for the next one, and then we can roll right into step 3. Oh my god. Yikes. Anyway, I need to go and drink like a lot of water. I hope you've all had fun. That was really cute. It was... I actually kind of like that they're diving into some more serious topics, and I think they handled it really nicely. That was really beautiful. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it, because I certainly did. And I guess I'll see you all in the next one, okay? I'll see you around. Bye! Bye-bye.